The Private Label Pod with your host Paul Mooney, brought to you by Private Label People.
You just listen and leave the rest up to us.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Private Label Podcast. I'm your host Paul Mooney. Today we were joined by Stephen Offhouse, who told us what it means to him to be a private label person.
Get involved, have your say, ask us a question or leave us a voice message by heading on over to privatelabelpeople.com/podcast.
Hello everybody, we have Stephen Offhouse in with us today. Stephen has travelled a very long way to be here, but he's here, he's looking fresh, he's looking well. Stephen, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Well, it's good to have you here, man, and you've brought your good lady with you. It's all work, no play, is it? Are we doing a little bit of play while we're here also?
We have a jam-packed schedule, so we're just trying to keep up.
Yeah, well, it's always the way. Whenever you're on a working holiday, you don't get a lot of downtime, but we'll try and have some fun also. But it's great to have you, like I say, and we just want to give people listening to the podcast a little bit of background in regards to yourself and where you come from and your business journey to date, what got you here. So sort of take us back to your opening days as an employee of a company, or were you not an employee of a company? Did you go out on your own? Did you work for yourself? How did it all start?
Well, we're going to start with something that my nickname. We're going to start with that. I go by Esso. Okay. So everybody calls me Steven. When I'm here, everybody calls me Steven. Nobody calls me Steven except my mother. Everybody calls me Steve or Esso. Mostly I go by Esso. And my son is Steven. My father was Steven. And my son actually goes by Steven, but I do go by Esso. So we're going to start with that. And then when it goes to my where I started, do you want the long version or no? I'm just kidding.
Well, whatever works.
You know, I grew up in a small village just outside of Buffalo, New York, and my mother owned a women's clothing store when I was growing up.
Cool.
So I would go there when they were, building it, and when they were selling, and when they were doing everything, and I would spend my afternoons after school there. I mean, even from when I was real little, I would take naps in the dressing rooms and things of that nature. So I was always around some aspect of business and retail and things of that nature. And as I went through my, started the working career, I got into restaurants, I worked in things of that nature, so I really learned how to hustle and how to work with a diverse group. I don't know if anybody's ever worked in a restaurant. It can be a tough crowd, yeah. Especially from where we working with different cooks and personalities and things like that. And eventually I found myself into retail. I started at the bottom, stocking the back room and, taking care of shipments, looking for a management position without any experience at all. I walked into my first interview with a suit on, asking for a management job, and the lady laughed at me and said, "You have no experience." She said, "I do have a stockroom position open." And I said, "I'll take it."
Great.
And that's where I started. On my 91st day after evaluation, she promoted me to a management position. So okay. That's where I started in it. And I ended up working in multi-million-dollar retail establishments and running, 60, 80 people on a sales floor, and had, every experience that comes along with that.
Excellent. So you've quite the experience, and we've learned to call you Esso now. I'm sure if you could call Stephen, you think you're in trouble then.
Yes.
If that's,
okay. I think of my son.
What's your son's name?
It's
Stephen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Makes sense. Good. Well, you showed guts right from the start, then asking for a position that was probably a little bit beyond you, but you got there quite quickly, and now you've came into private label selling. How did you get involved in that? Where did you come across private label and Amazon?
You know what, I just like, with videos in the internet, the explosion of handheld devices and all those things, because my career started prior to that, but I started getting into YouTube videos and watching different things, and it would always take you to some places. And I came across a video probably 6 or 8 years ago of somebody selling plastic bags on Amazon. Okay. And they had a tech background, so they were talking about algorithms and things of that nature, which really was over my head. But they were making a significant amount of money. And I talked about it with Emily, and we never, it never went anywhere. And then during COVID and the lack of work, with everything being shut down, Emily came across the idea of selling on Amazon.
Okay.
And we went forward with that.
Great. And now you're in Private Label People. You're one of the founders. Can you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day role within Private Label People?
Day-to-day, it starts with a lot of coffee, followed by, that's how I start my day. Emily is someone that likes to get quiet and spend some time. I like to flip on the laptop and start to organize my thoughts in my day. So I start there. When you get into communications from the team and then communications from our partners and members, and I start to navigate through that. And sometimes it has a schedule, and sometimes the schedule is immediately wiped out, and you're just flying by the seat of your pants.
Well, I'm sure you do it well, and I think I know you do it well because I know you're able to jump on things pretty quickly, and you strike me as somebody who likes to get things done. You like to be on point and don't put things off. You strike me as that sort of person. That's great for our members to have somebody like that, because I know you do a lot of calls and you deal with a lot of issues that members have, and try and navigate them through difficult times. Is that your sort of role also? You act as getting on a call with someone, and if they're having a bit of an issue, you're finding something or whatever it might be, you help them with that also?
I do. Oftentimes it seems as we act as partners to some of our members, and this for me became a role with Emily and I as we were navigating through our private label journey. We had to basically have a pep rally for each other in moments that were challenging. We also had to have times where we were talking ourselves out of things or talking ourselves into things, and we noticed right off the bat that partnership that we had allowed us to excel. She has her unique abilities. I have mine. They do intersect and they cross over, but our ability to communicate and to basically help each other through that has been huge. And I do get on calls on a regular basis. I speak with people, I talk with people, and it seems that everybody has the same challenges that we had. So we have an opportunity to speak about those challenges, and basically sometimes it's a pep rally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just noticed on your arm you have a tattoo that says "Come as you are." Are you a Nirvana fan? Is that a Nirvana reference?
It is a Nirvana reference. Okay. That's right.
And I know you're an NFL fan also. Is Buffalo Bills your team?
The Buffalo Bills is the only team.
Okay.
Go Bills.
Okay. And how are they doing right now? Because I'm not.
So on our travels here, they had the last game of the season and they won, which put them in a really great position for what they call the postseason, which is the playoffs.
Okay. And is there anybody listening that might be a rival, a fan of another team that you would be particularly disenchanted with? Who would be your big rivals?
Well, we hate everyone.
That's a good answer.
There's only 32 teams in the NFL, so there's 31 that I dislike.
That's a great answer, yeah. What's your sort of the biggest buzz that you get from being involved in Private Label People? Is there something that you particularly enjoy, whether it be it happens now and again or it happens on a day-to-day basis? Is there something that comes to mind?
I enjoy I do enjoy the pace. I enjoy the energy that comes from working and collaborating on big ideas and what happens when we work together. This being here with the team in Northern Ireland always generates a lot of energy and a lot of excitement, and it really feeds what drives me the most, and gives us what we need to go back and deliver those results, because getting built up on them is one thing, but then delivering them is another thing. But I am definitely a results-driven person, and in private label selling, results matter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to have yourself dealing with that side of things. And we had a sit down today in the company, and we were talking about different people's qualities and what they bring to the table. And I know that's definitely the case for you. We've got Robert, who's big on the financial side of things, and he's good at putting the math together, as you guys would say. And we've Emily tying it all together. Ali's great with the research. Mickey with logistics. It's when we sat around the table today, and you can see where everybody comes from. We've got a great team, and I can't forget Michael, who's actually recording this podcast either. Sorry, Mike. But we've got a lot of good people in good places. Would you say?
I would say that. Not only would I say that, I would say that the cohesiveness, working together, structuring out things the way we have today. Normally, that in a business that could take weeks, it could take months. We did it in an afternoon, and the reason is because I think we all know ourselves, we know our strengths, and I think everybody's able to put some of their ego or their need for control to the side, and you can work on trust. And you can work on understanding that the goal is the same, and that if you take trust in a replacement for control, things are very different.
Absolutely. Well, look, I know that some of the guys who've been listening to the podcast and are listening now will have come across you because I know you do a lot of calls and you speak to people very early on in their membership journey. So I'm also aware of the fact that you've got to go and do one of those calls now, so I'm not going to keep you one moment longer. But SO, thank you so much. Great to have you here, and I look forward to spending some time with you over the next few weeks.
It was great being here today. Thanks.
Get involved, have your say, ask us a question, or leave us a voice message by heading on over to privatelabelpeople.com/podcast.
Thank you to SO for joining us there, and thank you to you guys for joining us also. As per usual, you can leave us your comments and questions through any of the usual channels. We'll see you next time.